All right. So week 9, right? Got the Charger game coming up Monday night, and this game scares me. So I'll get into why it scares me in a second, uh, and we'll do a prediction and just a couple of things, a couple of quick little update things here for the team. You know that the line got obliterated. So the Jets apparently brought back a some reinforcement for center. This guy was on their practice squad, I think. But anyway, they reinforced the center position. Apparently, from what I was reading, it looks like they added 2 other tackles. I don't know if they're practice squad or what. But at least they're trying to bolster the offensive line, and they they fucking need to, because the Chargers, I'll get to it in a second, but the Chargers defensive line is no joke. Another thing with the offensive line, Tittman might be playing this week, I think, from what I read. If he's healthy, that helps a lot. Whether or not he would be at center or guard, I don't know. I don't know what they're planning to do. And another little cool thing was, and I mentioned this in my last video, was I remember I was talking about, a bright spot of last week's game, the punting, right? Morstead had a phenomenal game. He was named Special Teams Player of the Week for the AFC, so that was definitely cool and well-deserved. So, all right, let's get to, one more thing that I thought was interesting. Jets tried to trade for a receiver. The receivers they were going after were pretty good. Mike Evans would have been unbelievable if they could have landed him. Devontae Adams and T. Higgins. But Mike Evans would have been a grand slam. I wasn't even aware that they were going after receivers with the trade deadline on Halloween, but it doesn't matter because none of it came to fruition. So, but that would have been, listen, you get another receiver like that, it only makes Garrett Wilson that much better because it opens up his game. So maybe they're on the right track with that line of thinking. Get another playmaker at receiver, and then you can really open up Garrett Wilson's game because he is the guy for this team. So, all right, let's get to why the Chargers scare me. 2 names: Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. Both of them are fucking Pro Bowl defensive linemen. Mack is like off the charts, fucking great. And that scares me, especially with the Jets' offensive line and where that is these days. That's a fucking problem to me. So, and that could be disastrous. You have the Jets' offensive line going against these 2 guys, which are they're both game wreckers in their own way, but Mack, more than anything, is a game wrecker. So I don't know how they need to game plan for this thing, but they better game plan for this extremely well. What I think they should do is, you got to try to establish the run as always, but if Wilson is going to drop back to pass, they got to be fast passes, quick releases. I mean, you cannot be in the pocket, trying to make something happen with these 2 guys coming after you. So that is what scares me the most about this game, is Bosa and Mack. like I said, they could be enough. They could be enough of a difference in this game to actually have the Chargers win this game. Because if those guys wreck the game and cause turnovers and all that type of shit, that could be the difference in the game. So that is the main concern here. And you have, what's his name? Ekeler, right? You have Ekeler, who seems to be having a good season at running back, right? I believe, for the Chargers. So you got to stop him. I'm not that worried about the Jets' defense. It's the offensive line that is the problem. And you're going up against two of the best defensive linemen in the league. Possibly one of the best, if not the best defensive player in the league, in Khalil Mack. So that's where my concern is. But you got to stop Ekeler. And Herbert, I always thought Herbert was really good. I still think he's really good. That was some draft class for quarterbacks. You had Burrow, you had Tua, and then Herbert, right? So that's turning out to be some draft class. Herbert, I think maybe took a step or two back, but he's dealing with an injury with his finger, right? So that could be a factor here. But Herbert is no joke. You can't take him lightly. That fucking guy can play. And like I said, I think he's definitely one of the best up-and-coming quarterbacks in the league that are, on the young side, in my opinion. So I think you're going to see 1 year, Herbert's going to really put together an amazing year. So there's not much else to talk about with this. It's a Monday night game. And like I said, the Jets they're going to have their hands full with Bosa and Mack. That, to me, is the whole key to this game. If they can somehow game plan effectively enough to where those two guys are not a factor in this game, which it is hard to, fathom. That at some point, I think one of them will, do some type of damage. But if they can keep it to a minimum of what those two guys are going to do, then I think the Jets have a shot in this game. It's at home, Monday night, 4-3. They are coming off of a game that was shitty, but at the same time, it was, if you saw my last video, give them credit for that comeback at the end of the game. So, prediction. This is a tough one. Something tells me they might lose this game. It's just really hard for me to predict against the Jets. And it really is a must-win game. This is another must-win game. If they want to make the playoffs, they gotta win this game. So, then they have the Raiders after this, and that's another game that they really need to win. And, you have the should-win games, right? So, this, I don't think, is a should-win game. This is going to be a tough game, in my opinion. The Raider game, that's a should-win game. So, but if you lose this game, then you're 4-4, and you go into the Raiders at 4-4. And if you beat the Raiders, you're 5-4. If you win this game, then they are 5-3. Okay, going into the Raiders at 5-3. Then you beat the Raiders. Now you're 6-3. So this is a huge game. It really is. So prediction, I'm going to give you a Jet fan prediction. And that means I don't even know if it's a prediction. It's more like I'm picking them to win because I really want them to win because they really need to win this game. So I'm picking the Jets to win. Prediction-wise, I don't know with this one. So how can it be a prediction if I don't predict it, right? So I'm predicting a Jet win. All right, there you go. But like I said, it's a game. It's a really key game because, like I said, if you can go into the Raider game at 5-3, it makes a huge difference as opposed to going into the Raider game at 4-4. So big game, and they have their work cut out for them. Like I said, with Mac and Bosa. So we'll see what happens. Monday night, always pretty cool to check them out on Monday night. So enjoy the game. I've been pretty good at doing the post games the night of to Monday night. So post game will probably happen on Tuesday. I might still film it Monday night. But this will be, because it's Monday, I'll release it, Tuesday, hopefully. All right. Enjoy the game, and I will see you soon.